Okay, this is an audio test. Shad is walking across the screen. He's dressed in fabulous armour. Look at that. Specimen of a man. My goodness. Ladies, get your tongues back inside your mouth, please.
Shadiversity.
Greetings, I'm Shad, and this video has actually been in the works for a couple of months now, and I'm actually very excited to make it because I've been really interested in fake, faux, non-metal armors for quite some time. And you also might be aware of this if you've seen me present or even promote my chainmail print t-shirts. And I made those shirts to look as realistic as possible as you can on cloth, but the print is very authentic riveted mail and it's high detailed and it's actually really, really good. And so there's the evidence that I've been deeply interested in, I guess, fake armor for quite some time now. And more recently, the quality that faux armor has been reaching has blown me away, so much so that it is now high time to make a video on it. If any of you follow me somewhat on social media, whether that's through Facebook or other places, you might have noticed me post this image right here, presenting, check it out, I got a new set of armor. I didn't say what it was made out of or where I got it, I just said I'm armoring up. Now I did that for a number of reasons. One of them also, well primarily, was for it to be a bit of a test, to see how many people would actually tell, and it was this set that I was wearing, not the helmet, just the most of the armor, how many people could tell that it wasn't actually metal. This armor that you see here, and the armor I'm wearing in the image, is from Wormwick. Wormwick? That's how you write it down there. And of course, link in the description to Wormwick, so if you're interested in this. But how good does it look? So what is it made of? It's actually made out of polyurethane, this stuff. And so it's solid enough, but of course it's flexible, so it's easy to wear. And the finish that they put on it looks really good. So much so that that image I posted on my Facebook fooled like 99% of people. There were some few people that are actually familiar with Wormwick's armor, and they could pick out the armor design. And there was only like one or two, a couple of people, maybe more, like maybe I can't remember exact amounts, right? There's only a couple of people to a few that actually said, I'm not sure, something off that looks a bit like they weren't able to dive into and commit to it, but there's some people saying, I'm not sure that really, but everyone else, it looks like wholly authentic, and to me as well. And so I think that shows you, just in that little experiment, how authentic and good some of this armor is getting. And so when I was seeing how good this armor was, I actually reached out to Wormwick's, okay? And so this video is kind of sponsored by them, but kind of not, because I reached out to them saying, hey, I see what you're making, it looks phenomenally good, I want to try it out, but also share my thoughts on it and share it to you, because I think faux armor has a more important role to play in medieval enthusiasts than we might give it credit. And I'm going to explain a bit of that as we continue on, because it actually fills a really important role, particularly for someone like me. But even if you don't share all the reasons that I share, I think you might actually find great value in faux armor, fake armor. And so when I reached out to them, they sent me this for free. So I'm going to say that up front, but I wanted to get a set anyway. And of course, it was a very mutually beneficial thing. So kind of sponsored. And this video also has an additional sponsor that I will talk a little bit about later. So again, if some of you are thinking, well, I could have figured that out from the picture, well, there's been a couple of other tests that I've been doing to see how well this fake armor can actually fool people. And if you've been seeing me wearing my Brigandine lately, you might have noticed something different. What have I been wearing on my feet, you might be asking? Indeed, I've been wearing greaves. And a lot of people have noticed, saying, hey, where'd you get those greaves? Tell us about the greaves, Shad. They're great, I like them. So a lot of people have noticed and commented on them, and not one person was able to tell that the greaves I'm wearing here, they're part of this set right here. They're polyurethane, they're not metal. That's how good they look. So my greaves in particular has fooled everyone. Not a single person has been able to figure this out. So as I've been, thinking, when I saw like Wemwick's armor, I was thinking like, this is really, really cool because, again, I'm going to get into the reasons why I think there's a really important place that fake faux armors can fit in, especially if they're looking as realistic as this. Because this is, I honestly think this is actually phenomenal. That's why I reached out to them, okay? They didn't contact me. This is something, again, look at my chainmail prints, okay? Something I've been interested in following for a decent amount of time. And I had a thought when I was contacting Wemwick? I'm sorry. Your name is very hard. Is it Wemwick? Wormwick? Rimwick? Anyway, my thought was this. It's like, okay, this looks phenomenal, but, and by the way, this stuff is also used, so Wemwick produces and provides some of the armor props that you see in film. It looks that authentic and realistic. And this set here, some of the sets that are out today look better than the stuff that you see in film that they try and pass off as the real thing. Like, look at this breastplate from the movie The King on Netflix, okay? I can look at it as like, that's not metal. And it looks like, it doesn't have the right shape. That's the biggest thing. It just looks garbage. Even if it was metal, it would still be garbage. But it just looks fake but what Wemwick has really been able to show really well is the armor shape. Now, I admit the helmet isn't there yet. I think the helmet, it looks great, but there's still some room to improve. And if you're wondering, I'm definitely going to be putting this on so you can see what it's like when I'm wearing it. Look at the shape of the breastplate. The waist line is properly raised to give you the proper movement. It's domed at the front. The metal finish, you can pick the metal finish. So I, of course, picked the one that I felt looked the best. Looks really, really good. So this honestly looks better than some film props that you actually see in movies. So as I was saying before, when I was contacted with me, I was thinking about like, this looks really, really good. But admittedly, when you look super close, if you're actually looking, I think, as I've already shown through my tests, if you're not looking for it, it'll fool most people, and it's definitely realistic enough to be passable. But I do admit, if you look really, really close, sometimes you can tell maybe, if like, is that armor or not? Because, of course, not being real metal, it is hard to put the finish on to make it look so perfectly authentic, but I think they've done well enough, but if they can improve it further, even better. But that is great. But when I was thinking about that, it's like, is there an armor that's made out of metal that you could technically make a fake version that no one would be able to tell? And then, of course, if you've been watching my content, you know that I've been really into Brigandine lately. Like, look at my set. I've been wearing this in my videos more recently, and I love Brigandine. And then I just realized, well, hang on. What if someone did this? So let me propose this idea to you, okay? What if people made faux brigandines out of some type of hard plastic or impact-resistant foam or something like that and did metal studs on it? You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It would look completely one-to-one. And so with that thought, I reached out to the people who made my Brigandine, Still Mastery, and I've proposed this idea to them just to see if something like this could be made for the future, saying, you guys make great Brigandines. I've got my Brigandine, I love it, all right? What if you actually substituted the standard sets you have with either some type of impact-resistant plastic or material, and you would get all the benefits that I'm going to talk about a bit later in this video. And so not only have they been interested in that, they agreed completely with me, did some kind of research and development, R&D, and found a really good material that they could actually make a fake Brigandine out of that would look completely realistic. And if you're wondering, you're not sure that this could actually work, that they could pull this off and make a fake Brigandine that would fool most people, that's exactly what I've been wearing this whole time. This is not my regular Brigandine. The metal Brigandine is right here. Metal. The one I've been wearing in this video is fake. Be honest. How many of you were able to tell? How many of you figured out that the armor I've been wearing, this Brigandine, is actually not metal? Indeed, it is. Let me see. Can you see it? It's hard to show you. It's an impact-resistant type of foam product. I'll put the name here because they did the research and they found that this one worked really well. And so I've been collaborating with Still Mastery to develop this, and they've sent it to me, and I decided that I wanted to make a whole video on faux armor, plastic armor, fake armor, with Wemwick's and Still Mastery, and they sent me a set each, and I'm showing them to you, and look how great it looks. So you've got this one that looks great, and look at this Brigandine as well. Like, It's amazing. And as you know, I've tested both to see how many people it would fool, and it's fooled most people. And I'm really interested in if anyone actually was able to tell that, hang on, that's not Shad's regular metal Brigandine. He's a bit more lively. He's able to flex around a bit more in it. The pauldrons, I don't know, do the pauldrons look like, because this is the thing, when I look in the mirror, I can't tell that like it looks wholly, completely authentic. So this is how realistic faux fake armors are getting in the modern day. Now, if you're interested in this, okay, because I think this is brilliant, as I said, there's a link to Wimic's website in the description below, and I was kind of fooling you a bit when I was saying Steel Mastery was preparing this, because as you know now, they've already made it, and it's available on their website right now. Like this awesome faux Brigandine, fake Brigandine that you can't even tell the difference. It's actually available right now. I suggested to them, it's my idea, I'm claiming the idea, I thought it was a brilliant idea, and I suggested to them, but they realized it was as well. And because they're making them already, they were on board. I'm interjecting just briefly because I think there's something rather important that many of you might have actually missed, but you also probably have noticed that I'm standing in a new environment, and it's because I'm trying out a new green screen. So you actually probably will see this green screen in future videos in certain different ways that I wish to use it. But that's beside the point. What is the thing that I wanted to point out? And it's that from the beginning of this interjection, I've actually been wearing the metal Brigandine. See this one? It's the metal one, okay? How many of you noticed? Like seriously, because I think I might have fooled you a bit more because it looks pretty darn close. But I understand if you didn't notice because it's actually really hard to tell. For instance, we're able to pick up on the fact that I'm now wearing the fake Brigandine. Like seriously, see this one? It's fake. Okay, and that's how authentic and one-to-one this fake one looks compared to the real one. I think it looks pretty darn close, almost identical, so much so that I'm not sure if you've noticed that I've switched back to the metal one again. See again? Metal. So that's how close these, Brigandines look. That's pretty cool. So now we'll get back to the regular video, which I filmed outside, just to let you know I'm wearing the fake one again. Now, why would you want this? Why would you want like a fake metal, armor, polyurethane armor, or a fake Brigandine? Now some of you might be thinking, well, LARP, but I think there's more uses, all right? And as I continue to share some of those uses, I'm gonna chuck on the Wimic's one and show you some features as well. How good does this look, right? I think it looks pretty cool, like, check it out. Hey? So one of the big reasons why I think the Wimic's armor looks so good is the shaping. You see where the waistline is? It's resting on my hips, properly domed, and also it's so authentic in some ways that you need to deal with some of the similar issues that actually exist with real historical armor. For instance, the helmet. I can get this open. I actually need a padded coif or something so it actually sits right. It's too low and I can't see. So there's that. Let me just take that off. So it's hard to breathe in like a real helmet, right? One of the other things, I'm clearly not wearing a proper arming doublet, which creates some interesting issues the same way, because you might notice I'm not wearing these great leg pieces that are articulated and everything in the same historical way. And to stay up properly, they need to be tied onto the gambeson, and I don't have a point of, contact to tie that. And so these were slipping down too much, unfortunately. I'm not wearing them, but even without them, okay, it looks really, really cool. So I just want to do a bit more of a close-up demonstration of the Wimic's fake polyurethane plate armor to show you that, like, this thing is pretty, like, look at the movement, right? This is just like, in terms of, it's funny. It's got almost the same level of restriction and the same level of maneuverability that real, historical armor has, except it's lighter, so it's easier to move in as a result. And there is more flex, okay? As you can you see this? There's more flex on everything, which gives you that little bit more movement than perhaps you would on real armor. But I kind of pointed this out a couple of times. I really want you to see and see how much the waist tapers, okay? This is just like a more authentic breastplate. You see the dome on the front. And now, It represents a particular style of plate armor, and of course there are many other types of plate armor that comes around the whole, arm and things. This is just protected on one side, but in terms of freedom of movement and the authentic look, well, I'll let you judge for yourself. So I mentioned one of the obvious things, and people kind of assume only things that fake armor is useful for is, say, LARP, live action roleplay. And of course it is. I'm not saying it isn't, but I think that is far too narrow an application. I think it's like these armors, and this is the Steel Mastery fake Brigandine set, and just while I'm not wearing it, this is what's actually underneath the pauldrons, breastplate, and this. And it's a very kind of flexible, light, high impact strong foam product. So it's not even really polyurethane, but it works really well because it holds the shape. Like, look at the shape that it's holding just on the pauldrons, right? Yet it's flexible, easy to move in, and it's light. And this is where we come to one of the more primary benefits, I feel, for fake armor. But before I even get there, there's the notion of authenticity, because I personally think this stuff actually has a role to play even in reenactment, depending on the type of reenactment you're doing and the type of reenactor you are, granted, okay? But there are some severe limitations when it comes to stuff that is as authentic as possibly can be. For instance, a metal set of armor like this, okay, that is even halfway decent, has good shape and everything, and looks authentic and stuff, it's going to cost a lot of money. So I'm not saying these stuff is like dirt cheap. They're really good quality, okay? And so they're worth the price that they sell them for, but they're not exactly dirt cheap either. So look, I'm not saying anyone would be able to just get it whenever. But if you compare it to some of the higher end steel, harnesses, they are way more expensive. So there's that. But then there are other limitations, and this is where my interest really came about. And the fact that they're lighter and easier to wear. I have a bad back, okay? And so when wearing my Steel Mastery metal, Brigandine, right? I can only wear it for about an hour max before my back is ready to give out. That's a big problem. Now, I'm not a medieval person, I'm not a medieval soldier, I haven't trained my whole life to wear it, okay? But if I wanted to pretend to be a medieval soldier in reenactment, LARP, or anything like that, I would want to pretend I could wear it with the same amount of ease, but of course I can't because I'm not a medieval person or soldier, right? But by making it lighter, it seems to almost balance it out where I could actually now pretend that I'm capable of wearing it and I'm much stronger than what I am, because I don't know how much stronger you would need to be to have real armor feel as light as what these armors feel like. And I don't think it's even possible because these are so light that you can't even reach that point. But it helps me pretend that I'm stronger and tougher and I can wear this type of armor for longer because it's lighter. But it also just opens up greater possibility for me to do the things I love more often, because I don't know how much training it'll take me to wear to get accustomed to wearing actual metal armor. I wear my armor once a week, once every couple of weeks, depending on the needs of the videos I'm doing. I unfortunately don't get to do much reenactment or even LARP these days. Lockdowns and things, as you can imagine. But even doing LARP or anything physical, just walking around, for instance, going to a medieval fair, okay? It's really fun to dress up in medieval stuff. I want to wear my medieval Brigandine, but I'm not going to be able to wear my metal one around the fair all day. It's not going to happen. Yet it looks so cool, and I love the feeling of just pretending to be a medieval soldier or whatever. And so this is where this kind of faux armor has a big role to play, in my opinion. There's another matter on top of just the fact that I have trouble wearing heavier armor because of my bad back, but it's also health-wise as well. As some of you might know, if you're familiar with my content, I do have chronic fatigue. I've had a surgery more recently that's helped reduce it. So instead of having chronic fatigue constantly, it now comes in spurts. And my employees would be able to tell you that this week has been horrible for me. I haven't been able to film, this is Friday now, I haven't been able to film all day this week because simply getting on my feet and walking around made me dizzy and lose my breath and labor under breathing and stuff. All because of my sleep apnea and other things. So now imagine what it can be like sometimes when I'm wearing, once again, heavy metal. And look, this is well-made stuff. It doesn't pull down on the shoulders, okay? It sits as well as what the historical one was supposed to sit like. But because my health problems get in the way, I have so much trouble breathing in it when I'm particularly having a bad day. I literally, one of the last videos I filmed in, it was Thor's, Mjolnir, and Stormbreaker, reviewing those. I actually nearly passed out in that filming session because of the trouble I was having breathing from just the weight, the exhaustion, my bad back and everything like that. And so it was really tough. And that's the impact that actual metal armor can have on some people whose health isn't exactly up there as high as we would wish it would be. So once again, now wearing this, and this, it's amazing how much better and easier I can breathe in it because I'm just not being worn down. Also, it's not exhausting me nearly as much. Now granted, on days where I've got more energy and I'm doing better, I can wear my metal one much longer without nearly as much impact. But compare that to if I was wearing this, okay? Even on a good day, one of these, I'd be able to wear these for much, much longer. So there is a massive important role that I think this stuff plays for people who don't have best backs, you know, don't have their health where they wish it would be, okay, to help them still enjoy the things that they love. And this is one of the reasons why I've been really interested in this stuff, because one of the other things is, though, I'm a Puritan in some ways. I want the armor to look realistic. And so I've been a bit, out of luck, because when I've looked for faux armors, most of them look like garbage. Until now. Right? So, okay, what about the matter of authenticity? Because I completely understand that sometimes you want to experience what it actually feels like to wear real metal armor. The weight, how difficult or easy it is to move in it, and also fight in it if you're into, say, something like Battle of Nations. Absolutely, totally get that, okay? And so, of course, these types of armors wouldn't substitute that. But that doesn't mean I think they should be completely taken out of the reenactment scene, especially for people who struggle with wearing their big heavy stuff. Now, in terms of perfect authenticity, if you're saying it shouldn't be used because it's just not real, it's not metal, I think that's a bit of a flawed argument, because there's a lot of things that are currently used in reenactment that are flawed. Think about gambesons, okay? This is supposed to be substituting a type of more armoured gambeson. It's not thick enough. This is actually just a layer of rough linen, wool, and a layer of rough linen on the back. Some were made like that, but it's not thick enough. The one I'm wearing here is actually a fairly decent combat-ready gambeson. It is very thick, as you can probably see, but not all gambesons are. And it's not to say this is perfectly authentic either. It's made out of modern materials. For instance, historical linen, the way that it's made without the processing, has a type of a waxy membrane that's left on the material that actually makes it somewhat stronger and more resistant to being pulled apart. That actually gets removed in the modern processing when modern linen is made. And so the materials we're actually using in a lot of reenactment aren't 100% authentic either, but you might say it's authentic enough. And I'll be like, ha ha ha! Authentic enough then! If that's what we're wanting to go for, well, in my opinion, and I guess everyone is going to have their draw the line at different places for every individual, but for me, I personally think authentic enough is if it looks authentic enough. Doesn't necessarily need to feel or weigh authentic, but if it looks authentic enough, then absolutely I think it could and should be allowed and included into certain reenactment scenes. And I'm not saying like Battle of Nations where it actually needs to hold up against a thing, but if it, like we've tested it, like when you just look at it without knowing anything about it, these armors actually pass the casual inspection test, in my opinion, and can absolutely fill the role. I know there are many people who will say no, and look, I'm not saying these armors are perfect. I think they're pretty close, but I'm not saying they're perfect, okay? But in terms of shaping and other things, they do a really good job. And because of that, I think, yes, there is a place that these types of armors can even fill in reenactment. And then there are other really awesome and great uses as well. Video production. What do you think? Like for me, okay, one of these is so much better for my video production because I'm not killing myself in wearing it. But what if you just wanted to wear something fun, medieval, authentic in a role-playing game where, you know, you just want to be a bit more comfortable? Again, okay? And film, Wormwick's ones are already used in certain film productions and stuff, all right? So, again, and these are a lot of uses. Then, of course, there is LARP and other things. So I think there are a lot of places these faux armors actually have great benefit and utility, especially for those people who struggle a bit more in wearing the actual real steel metal things like myself. And so then, of course, that's why I've reached out. Now, these are some of the best examples, and when I say best example, this is like only freshly on the market, the Steel Mastery Faux Brigandine, right? And again, I suggested it to them because you can't tell. It's like, it looks so good. And this looks awesome as well. And I guess as to which one, price is going to determine which one you might be interested in. Both, again, linked in the description below. But who says it needs to be one or the other? Because, you know, Brigandine wasn't just one or the other historically. Oftentimes they mixed and matched as well. So, why not both? So I've switched back to the Faux Brigandine, and before we kind of combine these sets, I want to just show you briefly the kind of range of movement that this exists, because the Brigandine can flex, the metal one, but this one way more so because of what it's made out of. Yet it still looks wholly realistic, okay? And like full range of motion, even more, because again, like see here, when I can go up, it'll actually curve and let me extend my arms even more. Now, if you think that's realistic or not, because metal wouldn't bend like that and it kind of ruins the immersion, I think you have to be looking pretty closely to notice. And even if not, I think it looks more than realistic enough, especially just when you're just moving around casually and even like, you know?
Facial recognition got a hit.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
So I just want to see how it moves when I'm going through some, you know, sword motions. Yeah. Okay, like, this isn't bad. And you definitely have the better range of motion than the metal one. And so, yes, I think it passes the test. The other thing that I really want to stress with this Steel Mastery Faux Brigandine is how much easier it is to breathe in it. Like it's just, I don't know, if because it's more flexible, that my chest and gut can expand more when I breathe in, which is just, and so when I'm actually getting a bit tired from having talked a lot, breathed a lot, moved around and everything, I can just stand still and take a deep breath in and actually start to recover. And so the contrast between this and the steel version is quite striking. But as I mentioned before, let's see what they look like combined. Something like this. And as I mentioned, this was done historically, where they wore like a Brigandine cuirass with we'll plates, you know, pauldrons and attachments that continue further on. And I feel like they weren't made to go together, but they go together pretty darn good. And so this is what I wanted to share with you a bit, you know, my thoughts on the place that faux armor can hold in many of our interests as medieval enthusiasts, if you indeed are one, but also at how far they've come in terms of looking realistic. And especially this new kind of one that I've been working with Steel Mastery in terms of faux Brigandines, but Wormwick's ones are just absolutely amazing as well. So a big thank you to Wormwick and Steel Mastery for collaborating with me on this video. If you guys are interested in, you know, any of these, as I've mentioned, but I'll say once again, links in the description below to Wormwick and Steel Mastery. Thank you for watching. Let's share your thoughts, okay? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And seriously, I have mentioned in a couple of my videos recently that interactions help boost this video's prominence in the YouTube algorithm, which is the view. Thank you for watching, but also a like and a comment. So please leave a comment, share your thoughts. If you can't think of anything to say, secret word of this video is gotcha. Because did I getcha? And if I didn't get you can write gotcha in the comments to say gotcha to the other people that I got. If you saw the picture I posted of me wearing the Wormwick armor, if you noticed it there, let me know in the comments, okay? I'll take it if you were, you know, perceptive enough to show something different about the reflections there, but also share if I fooled you with my you know, greaves. And if you notice the ones, what about the Brigandine. Did I fool you with the Brigandine? Share in the comments which ones I might have, you know, been able to fool you. Or if you can't, it's just a gotcha. A gotcha would be greatly appreciated because it'll help boost this video and let other people see it. So thank you for that. And also thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And of course, I hope to see you in the next video here on Shadiversity. So until that time, farewell. And now I can go around adventuring with my new magical set. So thing is, right, the skin is dragon skin. So it's really strong, and all I needed was something for it to bond it to. So it's really like a thick kind of, you know, cloth underneath or something that holds it together. That's why this is so light. My new dragon skin brig with mithril pauldrons. You can go adventuring. I'm off.